Hello everyone, welcome to the Sideline Project's blog interview. I'd like to welcome Giselle Gonzalez, and she's going to be talking a little bit about the census. Can you introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, so my name is Giselle Gonzalez. So I am one of the co-founders for the Sideline Project. And I also work as a Raiz fellow for Planned Parenthood of Illinois under the public policy team.
So, a few questions about the census. What is the census?
So the census is ultimately a test, a questionnaire that is sent out to the public every 10 years. And so it is sent out to everyone. This year's a little different, as some of us may have remembered. 10 years ago, it was a physical paper questionnaire, and this year it's being done online through a very quick application. It literally takes about 10 to less than 10 minutes to complete, and it's a head count of everyone in the United States, who is in here.
Now, if someone is not a U.S. citizen, are they still eligible to take the census?
Yeah, definitely. So actually, the census does not require you to be a citizen. It doesn't ask any sort of immigration citizenship question. Therefore, everyone and anyone is able to take the census, should be taking the census, because it's the way that we get counted. And we'll probably touch base about this later. But it's also an even count, and making sure that everyone is counted also helps us receive some of the resources that we need the most, especially in a lot of these marginalized communities, such as immigrant communities.
Mm-hmm. And what are some of the questions on the census?
So it's very simple. It's just like it'll ask, for example, with me, when I completed it, it asked the name of everyone in my household, including myself. It'll ask for their ages, for their sex, their race, ethnicity, really, and that's about it. It's pretty simple.
Mm-hmm. You have to answer every question on the census?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the way that the census is designed, especially this online application, is that in order for you to move on, you need to answer. You need to answer the screen that's on the screen before being able to move on to like the next question.
Mm-hmm. And why does the questionnaire ask about race?
So it's a way to determine who is in the country, as far as like the percentage of Latinos who are in this country. When we talk about the impact that Latinx folks have had in this country, we talk about the economical assistance that they've brought in. Just the impact that they've brought to this country. The way that we see those numbers is by looking back at previous census data, because it allows us to see who is right now, who's currently in the country, how many of us. That's why that race question matters, because we need to be able to see how are we benefiting this country, and are we making that impact, and also for future reference, we want to look back and we want to see at all those things as well.
Mm-hmm. Does the census ask about your social security number?
It doesn't. So at no point does the census ask about your social security number. It doesn't ask if you're a resident, a citizen, an immigrant, nothing like that. It literally just asks for your race, your sex, your age, and your name.
Can DACA recipients fill out the census?
Yeah. Everyone is eligible to fill out the census. If you're documented, undocumented, citizen, anyone, and everyone should be filling out the census.
So say that my parents are not U.S. citizens and I'm a DACA recipient, I can still fill out the census?
Yeah, and actually, it'll be really beneficial if you fill out the census, just because, for example, in my case, I am in a mixed status family, which means that we benefit from certain resources. I benefit from certain resources that maybe my parents don't necessarily are able to qualify for. And so in order for us to be able to, in this case, continue to receive those benefits and make sure that we're making ourselves known and making sure that we are being counted, we should all be filling it out, including if you're in a mixed status family like you and I are.
Mm-hmm. For example, what is one thing that we can benefit from filling out the census?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'd say, like, for example, in our case, since we're in a way like, involved with community organizing and within, like, some sort of political organizing as well. So this census, the way that the census is organized, it also represents how many members we get in our district. So in order to make sure, like, we have, like, the best representatives that really represent, like, who our community is by filling out that census. So we want to make sure that our district or community is being represented the best way possible, because we want to make sure that we have certain resources to our communities. So to me personally, that was something that I didn't know at the beginning until I was told that it determines who your political representation is. And so to me, that was huge. And then aside from that, I mean, it also goes towards providing resources to your school districts, your local parks and your local park districts, and as well as, like, even, like, the roads that, a lot of damaged roads that we see. A lot of that funding also goes to making sure that those structures and those roads are, fixed and better.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Then I wouldn't see why there is any reason not to fill it out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was pretty shocking for me to see as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So on that note, can you refuse to take the census?
So technically, although we want to fill out the census, there is a penalty that can go against someone who takes the census, but realistically speaking, like, that penalty is not followed up. But I think morally, the best thing we can do is to fill out the census. It's the best way that we could make ourselves counted, and that we can make sure that our community is being represented in the way that it should. And I think that it is it's a very good way of, like, saying, like, I want to do something, but maybe I can't do this, or I'm not necessarily able to do that. And I think by filling this out, it's a way of saying, like, I actively did something to benefit those in my community or my family or those around me.
Mm-hmm. So either way, it's pretty beneficial to just go ahead and take the census, because they're giving back either way.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. It's ultimately it's the best way that it's one of the ways that you can give back to your community. Yeah.
That's all the questions I had. I'd like to thank you, Giselle, for taking the time out of your day to speak about the census. And I appreciate it. Stay well and healthy. That's it for today, everyone. See you all later.
Thank you.